everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Too Strong, where Too Strong is always better than one. My name is Corey, and that guy over there, that's downtown Merlin Brown. It used to be, see, it go back and forth.
Go back. I was gonna say, keep switching my name up. They're gonna get confused.
Well, I want them to. That's the whole point.
All right, I'm down with
You
confusion.
gotta try to guess and see how I'm gonna say it. But I be wondering. I always wonder sometimes if anybody be at home saying it with me. Down.
They do. They put it in the tag. They type it in too.
Oh, they do. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. That's showing up downtown Brown. So Madonna, Miss Madonna, man, like a virgin. How she say it? Like a virgin.
Like a virgin.
For the very first time.
That's what she say.
If you really think about that, man.
That's how she sees the children. I'll tell you that much.
Right, exactly. She want to be she's infatuated with virgin children, and she wants to be the first to touch them, evidently. A sick individual, very, very sick individual, targeting kids just like the rest of them. But we got all the info, we got all the receipts again, like we always do to break this thing down. But do us a favor, you all, before we get all the way into this, like, share, and subscribe so that you will be the first to know when we come in. Like a demon. Yeah, right.
We should redo her song and put it correctly.
Like a demon, you know? So we appreciate everybody that is tuned in, everybody that is here today, and hopefully you come back tomorrow. So let's dig in, downtown Brown. What we got, man? Where you want to start?
And there were reports that surfaced about Miss Madonna trafficking children out of Malawi. And so we decided to take a gander and see if it was real. Well, I'll backtrack a little bit so you guys can catch up on where we have been with Madonna. We did an expose on her and a few other females that are in Hollywood that have adopted not necessarily just Black, but African Black children. And we had talked about them being the modern day buck breakers. There were a few people that were like, man, it's putting a stretch on it, and it's kind of, well, with this news surfacing, it looks like we were more right than y'all were.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, that's what's looking like.
Just saying. If you're familiar with that whole concept of buck breaking, then this will make a whole lot more sense to you. So the theory was that she was grooming as well as trafficking children out of Malawi with her foundation called Raising Malawi. The premise was that she was indoctrinating children via the education system that she set in place with Malawi, Raising Malawi, to bring them into the new age of accepting everything perverted on the sexual scale by promoting her old book that she had called S*X. So we did some looking into the book. I don't even know how to start with that particular book. Everything in the book is lewd. And when I say lewd, that's putting it as mild as I can put it. There is even stuff in the book about bestiality. Now, I don't think anybody with a sane mind would want to put that woman with that kind of a mind in front of children, much less to open a facility that teaches and helps anything to do with children. Then you know that she adopted a child and he's now gay. So the agenda is working when she has him in her power. So we got that part down, dead to rights. Now the organization that's bringing the accusation towards her, it's called the Ethiopian World Federation. They are an advocate to change laws that harm all Black people. They're based out of course, Africa. Now, their premise is that they don't want to see the indoctrination of young Black people in Africa go through the homosexual agenda, the perversion agenda, or even taking the religious aspect and sexualizing it. They want nothing to do with it, and they are of the opinion that Madonna has opened this facility with that in mind. And I'm glad someone else is talking about it too. Yes, it's very, very similar. Very similar. They both have the exact same pursuit because they're both pedophiles. Okay, let's just be all the way honest about what they are. You don't open a school like that, push the agenda you're pushing, and not be a pedophile. So the trafficking concept that they're bringing up has been requested for review by the Ethiopian World Federation to the Malawian president, Lazarus Chakwara. So what they're saying to him is that she is directly involved in child trafficking, sex exploitation, sexual slavery, adoption reversal, and a threat or coercion, fraud, deception, and abuse of power or vulnerability. That is the charges that they're bringing towards Madonna. Now it's a pretty hefty line. The first two being the first three being probably the most dangerous: child trafficking, sex exploitation, and sexual slavery. Now, that is not an easy list to try and deny, especially when you have a track record of going over there, when you have a track record of promoting everything sexual, and you also have a track record of adopting children to make them gay. So I don't know if the lineup is necessarily a fake one. I think they have a case. I think they have a case.
I wonder if there's a connection with all these people adopting the black kids and turning them gay. Is it simply because they're black and it's something else to it? It could be the one thing. Maybe it's different.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's easier too.
Yeah. Okay. Easier to get.
It's easier to get. You don't see them opening in anything in Detroit. You don't see them opening anything in Los Angeles or Oakland.
Right.
They open it in areas where they know there's no jurisdiction over what they do.
Yeah, exactly. So is it a wealth thing or a lack thereof?
A lack thereof.
Yeah. So, but of course, everybody would make it out to be, and I don't know. I really don't know. That's the thing that people need to understand is that sometimes we just don't know. We can assume, just like and we're gonna keep it right here. But just like with the cops do things, or it's always because they was black. You don't know why they did it unless they told you.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can have some behaviors behind what they did and kind of pay attention to that. But in this case, it's kind of odd. But whatever it is, I know that Madonna is like infatuated with black guys or black people. Look what she did with the little weirdo stuff she had. What's that dude? Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman, yeah.
Yeah, he just, I don't know who works, him or her. I don't know.
They're both kind of crazy. So
yeah, they run it neck to neck. But I just be wondering that sometimes is there a connection to, or what is the connection with these low down dirty rotten do dirties and these black kids? Why are
I think, for me, I think I'm convinced, and I'm pretty sure you are too, that the key here is what we can't mention.
Absolutely.
That is it. I think that's the only.
Yeah.
That has to be it. It has to be the thing that we can't mention. The crazier part of this is the connections that Raising Malawi has in the background of the entities that they partner with. One of the entities is called buildon.org, and the other one is Age Africa. Age Africa is two of the partners that combine with Raising Malawi. Age Africa focuses primarily on girls, young girls. You see a premise kind of developing here already. So they're pushing the idea of female empowerment in Africa, which is what this thing is fighting against. That the Ethiopian entity is fighting against is this promotion of the rise of the female power structure. And in so doing, they have to indoctrinate boys into believing that they're what? Women.
Yeah, women.
Right?
Girls.
The crazier part, this service is built on. I'm going to name off some entities here that partner with Build On. And if you hear something weird, stop me when you hear it. Okay? GE, Bank of America, Citibank, Comcast, Goldman Sachs, LinkedIn, JP Morgan,
Uh-oh.
okay, Morgan Stanley, Pitney Bowes, and Synchrony.
And these are other companies that's doing what again?
These are companies that partner with Build On, who partners with Madonna's Raising Malawi.
Yeah, and
they put money behind it.
Well, of course, they will claim that they don't know what's going on, and
they don't, right? They don't know
yeah,
nothing.
they don't. Oh no, we didn't know that was happening. We don't agree with that. That's not our thing. But guaranteed, if you go ask these people for money, they do background checks and they look into your business and they can see she got charged. So this lady has gotten lawsuits and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
She got lawsuits for pedophilia and what exactly is it for?
So this is what exactly they're bringing to her. They're begging and filing something to the president to look into Raising Malawi for the following charges: child trafficking, sex exploitation, sexual slavery, adoption reversal, threat or coercion, fraud, deception, and abuse of power. It's a laundry list. It's long.
And she clowned.
Yeah, they cited her book as the cause for their concern because she still promotes it. And their statement is that gay porn stars will photograph in pornographic pictures with Madonna performing vulgar sex acts with the same sex, which should have been disclosed during her adoption case in 2006. She did not disclose the kinds of activities that she promotes and allows in her life before they did the adoption thing, because by, I guess, Malawian law, you can't have that kind of thing as a parental guide. So they're looking into that now, and then that links into why she would start a school for young children promoting all that stuff. And if that's all it was, and that's all it stopped at, that'd be one thing, guys. But on further research to the Raising Malawi firm, what we found was a little bit more disturbing, and would lead us to investigate some other things that we'll have to end up doing probably a show on that too. The company that Raising Malawi uses a entity for donation called Anadot. Anadot Solutions. If you want to go find their website, it's anadot.com, ANEDOT.com. As Corey said, if you don't do your due diligence into a company that you use, you're one of two things. You're lying or you don't care what they do, and you're just as guilty as they are.
Super negligent.
Super negligent. The companies I'm going to name here, if you've ever donated to them or ever been a part of them, I'm sorry, because I was a firm believer in the first one I'm going to name. I'll be the first one, and I will no longer be supporting them in anything they do, like at all. The very first company is focused on the family. The next one is the Reformed Theological Seminary, and then the Thomas More Society. Those are three of the big names that are partnering and use Anadot for all of their donation, the same way that companies that use, what's it called? Act Blue. Companies that use Act Blue are companies that will directly support people like George Soros. So if you tell me that you don't know that Act Blue is related to George Soros, it's just as dumb as you telling me Anadot is linked to Raising Malawi and child trafficking. You got to be either a complicit or stupid. And if you're either one of them, I can't back you. You got to be one of the two, or you promote it yourself. The problem here, guys, is that people like Focus on the Family deal directly with the same thing that Raising Malawi is dealing with, which is children. That is what I can't understand. Maybe I'm blind, Corey, maybe I'm just dumb. If I'm running a company that deals with children's books, and a company that I'm using to collect donations is also a company that a child trafficking entity is linked to, why am I, as a child promoting entity for books, basically Christian, still using that same company?
Because you're involved.